Hello, I'm Bill Hull, and welcome back. God blesses those who gathers in his name. Today, what does God see when we do good? Does he see the hands, or does he see the heart? The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. That's a good thing. I want to talk about something that sits right at the crossroads of our faith and our human nature. It's something we all wrestle with, no matter how long we've walked with the Lord. I deal with this daily just as everyone does. We all need affirmation or recognition, or we would like a little thanks or pat on the back or whatever from our deeds or achievements. It's the tension between doing good and wanting to be seen doing good. It's between serving God and wanting a little credit for ourselves, between humility and the quiet whisper of pride that slips in the back door. Jesus speaks directly to this in Matthew chapter 6, verse 1. He says, "Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them." And then just a couple of verses later, he sharpens the point even more. When you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. It's not just instruction. That's heart surgery. Jesus isn't telling us what to do. He's telling us why we do it. He's asking us to look at the motive behind the motion. Then Paul, he comes alongside him in Philippians 2, verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Not some things, not most things, nothing. Nothing we do, not our service, not our generosity, not our kindness, should be driven by the desire to be noticed, applauded, or admired. Look at us. Look at what we did. Here's the question that brought us here today. If pride sneaks in, does it negate the good deed? Does it cancel out the good deed? Good question. We're going to walk through that very carefully, biblically, and honestly. First, Scripture never says that the good deed itself disappears. Feeding the hungry still feeds the hungry. Helping a neighbor still helps a neighbor. The action still blesses the person who receives it. But Jesus is very clear. Pride changes the spiritual value of the act. Pride shifts the reward. Pride shifts the glory. Pride shifts the heart. In Matthew 6, Jesus says, when we do good to be seen, you have received your reward in full. In other words, if the applause is all we're looking after, then no matter how small, however fleeting, that's it. That's all you get. Hooray, whoopee. Heaven doesn't add anything to it. God doesn't multiply it. And the Father doesn't even breathe on it. But when the heart is humble, when the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, then the reward comes from God himself, quietly, deeply, eternally. Luke 14:11 puts it plainly. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. That's not a threat, that's a spiritual law. Pride shifts us up for a moment, but humility lifts us up forever. And Proverbs 11:2 adds another layer to it. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. Pride doesn't just steal the reward, it blinds us. It makes us think the deed was about us. It makes us forget the source of the strength, the source of the compassion, the source of the blessing. Pride makes us the hero of the story instead of God. So does pride negate the good deed? No. But it does something far more serious. It negates the worship behind the deed. It negates the surrender behind the deed. It negates the intimacy behind the deed. It negates the spiritual formation that God intended to grow in us through the deed. Because every good work is supposed to shape us, not just help someone else. Every act of service is meant to make us look a little more like Jesus. And Jesus never served with a trumpet in his hand. Think about it. Jesus healed people and then told them, "Don't tell anyone." He fed thousands and then slipped away into the hills. He washed feet without announcing it. He gave his life without demanding recognition. The Son of God, the one who actually deserved all the glory, chose the path of quiet obedience. So when we serve with humility, we're not just doing good, we're becoming like him. Is that not our purpose? So let's be honest. Pride is sneaky. Woo-hoo! Yeah, it is. It doesn't always show up as bragging. Sometimes it shows up as wanting to be thanked or wanting to be noticed or wanting someone to say, "Look at what they did." Sometimes it shows up as posting the good deed online. Sometimes it shows up as telling the story a little louder, a little longer, so people know we were involved. That's ugly, isn't it? And here's the truth. God isn't angry at us for it. He knows our hearts. He knows we're human. He knows we're learning. But he invites us into something better, something deeper, something freer. And one would hope with age, no matter what your age is, but even later in life, we would wake up and understand that. Because humility frees us from the need to be seen. Humility frees us from the pressure to impress. Humility frees us from the weight of comparison. Humility frees us to love without calculation. Humility frees us to serve without scoreboard keeping. Humility frees us to give without expecting anything in return. And when we live that way, the Father, who sees in secret, he smiles. He sees the heart. He sees the intention. He sees the quiet faithfulness. And he rewards it in ways no human applause ever could. So let's bring this home. If you've done good with a little pride mixed in, don't beat yourself up. Just bring it to God. Let him purify the motive. Let him reshape the heart. Let him teach you the joy of sacred generosity, the beauty of hidden service, the freedom of quiet obedience. Because the goal isn't to erase the good deed, the goal is to refine the heart behind it. And when we do that, when we serve without the spotlight, when we give without the trumpet, when we love without needing credit, then the world sees Jesus, not us. And that, my friends, is the greatest deed of all. May God bless. Go in peace.